I had God's back in my role here in CEU. That's the one that gives me strength.
It was really being a mama for role, being the president of this institution. Almost 2 decades. It's so much grit.
Too long,
so much passion.
if you ask me.
Yes.
Too long. I've always said this. I want to emphasize this. That CEU has the best philosophy among all universities worldwide. And that is Ciencia y Virtud. It's really very important that we see to it that we nurture our students with that philosophy, Ciencia y Virtud. See to it that they have the knowledge and the skills to support their career, to support their studies, okay? But to see to it also that however they use their knowledge and their skills, that is always guided by values, okay? So that's really, really very important. That's where wisdom comes from.
For most of us, we see you as a strong and stern leader.
Actually, I should return that question.
I guess it's a rhetorical question that is up for everyone to ponder on. I'd like to get your advice to the younger generation in terms of relationship and love in general.
So I would still advise people to get committed, however way they want to do it, in front of God or over themselves, but something that would put strength in their relationship.
Perhaps that's one of the major changes in the culture that we have right now as Filipinos and also the whole world.
Yes.
The best is yet to come. Nga ba? Yan ang kadalasang katanungan ng mga tao kapag pinag-uusapan ang salitang retirement. Hi, I'm JC. Welcome to another episode of Cup of Jose, your local Escolar podcast, where discussions have a purpose. For today's episode, we have someone who has been a force to reckon with in terms of educational industry. She is an educational powerhouse. We have here today no other than Dr. Cristina D. Padolina. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, JC.
Thank you very much for allowing this conversation.
Of course. My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, I remember back in 2007 when I was first year in CEU Malolos. I can see you attending events there, significant events, and very much see how you present a very good aura of a leader. Yeah, right. Now, since you have been with CEU for 19 years now, and if CEU were your child, how would you describe the process or the journey of continuing raising this educational institution?
Okay. In the first place, describing CEU as my child is probably not a correct, comparison. Because I would probably say I'm more of a foster parent. Because I did not give birth to this child. And it came to me as an adult. Okay, so I cannot claim for giving birth and for preparing it for in the first 100 years, in fact. So, as a foster parent of this prestigious university, my role really was to see to it that we move up the level of excellence that we find in the university. So to continue its traditions and not fail our founders and our past presidents and alumni who have really brought home a lot of honor to the university.
And of course, it's worth noting that you have been very active in terms of internationalization and such. Right. What values from your own mother or a maternal figure somehow influence your leadership style?
My mother was a teacher. And so I saw her as a teacher, as someone who really prepares a lot, prepares very well for her classes. And I saw my mother also as someone who really did her best to see to it that we, her children, have a good education. We are not rich by background as a family. And so my parents struggled to put us to school. But they did so in a very admirable way, I would say, because they did it without losing their integrity, their honesty, and we saw that as children. And that's something that I carried on.
Bago pa man kayo mapunta sa CEU ng science and virtue, have already been integrated in your DNA, so to speak. Right. I remember this, one of my studies that I'm doing right now, it's Descartes. And one of the things there is how you actually tries to improve the life of a person. This is very much from where here. It mirrors the life of many Escolarians who are aiming to get quality education despite the social conditions. I see. Now, I'd like to be honest because for most of us, we see you as a strong, stern leader, right? Now, what is this other side of you that really varies?
Actually, you seeing me as stern and strict is not new. When I was a teacher in UPLB, I was labeled as a terror. Despite being labeled as a terror, my former students really liked me. And actually, I should return that question. Has my being stern and strict as an image been seen by you or felt by you as my being non-caring or non-compassionate?
I guess that's a rhetorical question that is up for everyone to ponder on.
Yes.
But as for me, I think that it's kind of leadership that would fuel someone to do better on a daily basis. So that's for my reflection. Now, in your 19 years of being president of this institution, ever been a moment where you felt vulnerable? And could you tell us something about this?
I don't know. Maybe when the pandemic struck, that everybody, was thrown aback by the suddenness and the unexpectedness of what came on. But I'm really very glad that the university as a whole was able to weather through its entire community. But of course, as its president, you would feel, wow, paano na tayo? Anong gagawin natin? So, hindi naman nagtagal yung ganong pagtatanong at yung ganong feeling at hindi pwede patagalin. Dahil meron tayong komunidad, lalo ng ating mga estudyante, na kailangan natin taguyod maski ano pa.
It's really that moment that's clouded with so much uncertainty.
Yes.
But thankfully, you were able to make it through that.
Yes. Well, it's the entire institution that did it.
It's uncertain for
Yes.
Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you this. Has there ever been a single biggest regret in your entire being president?
Regret? Wala siguro. No? Well, of course, there are moments when sana wala ako dito, sana hindi ako presidente. Pero those moments are temporary, are fleeting. They are just, emotions that come over you when you face problems. So, no, I don't regret anything. And also, that comes from a faith in God, because I don't think I've told this to anyone, but when I was appointed as CEU president, my church, the Church Among the Monks in Los Baños, which is part of the United Church of Christ of the Philippines, consecrated me to this post. And so I felt that I had God's back in my role here in CEU. That's the one that gives me strength.
It was really been a mammoth role being the
Yes.
president of this institution. Almost 2 decades. It's
Yes.
so much grit.
Too long,
So much
if you ask me.
Yes.
Too long.
Thank you very much for that. Now, let's try to do it on a lighter side. According to some statistics, 1 in every 10 young Filipino women are actually first-time mothers or are pregnant with their firstborn.
Yes.
Now, and also the situationships. Are you familiar with that term, ma'am?
Hindi.
Yung people walang label pero they're nag-a-update sila sa isa't isa. No, wala silang label. They're not couples actually, but they are acting as couples. So that's situationship. That's a very
Mga partners.
Yes, yes.
So, minsan tawag nila dyan,
Yes,
mga
situationship.
partners.
And no definite label.
Okay, teka, bago ka mag-palpitate, nag-e-enjoy ka ba? If you are, at gusto mo pa makapanood ng mas maraming kwentuhang inspiring, relatable, at proudly Escolarian, tutok lang sa Cup of Jose. So, kung ready ka na ma-inspire, don't forget to click the like, share, and subscribe. Ituloy natin ang mga kwento ng tagumpay. Kasama ka rito.
Now, and also the situationships. Are you familiar with that term, ma'am?
Hindi.
Yung people walang label pero they're nag-a-update sila sa isa't isa. No, wala silang label. They're not couples actually, but they are acting as couples. So that's situationship. That's a very
mga partners.
Yes, yes.
So, minsan tawag nila dyan,
Yes,
mga partners.
And no definite label.
Yes.
Now, from your point of view, I'd like to get your advice to the younger generation in terms of relationship and love in general.
I think it's important to make a commitment to one another because that commitment gives each one some stability, some strength, okay, rather than having a very temporary relationship that you can dissolve anytime. And so because of the knowledge that you can solve it anytime, maybe you don't try hard enough to make it work. So that commitment is very important. So I would still advise people to get committed, however way they want to do it. In front of God or in front of God or over themselves, but something that would put strength in their relationship, because I think that's the one that would put strength in their relationship.
And perhaps that's one of the major changes in the culture that we have right now as Filipinos now, and also the whole world.
Yes,
Because of
yes.
social media, the internet and all, we have somehow changed our perspective about things. But I'll take that advice. I'll take that advice to in finding my own
Yes.
relationship. I'll update you. And now, you're 19 years of being president. You must have been exhausting, but exhilarating.
Yes,
Am I correct?
yes.
Right. Now, what philosophy guides you whenever you're making the most difficult decisions as president?
As I said, nakasandal sa Diyos. So whatever it is that we do, it must be something that abides by God's word. So that's the one that guides me, and something that, what is it that is good for CEU? Not necessarily what is good for me as a person, but what is good for CEU. Because I have the responsibility to find the best thing for CEU.
It must have been a very tough act of balancing all things.
Yes,
together.
of course,
Right.
of course.
Now,
Always.
what's your message to the entire city community that will surely miss your presence after a couple of weeks or so?
I've always said this, and I want to emphasize this, that CEU has the best philosophy among all universities worldwide, and that is Ciencia Hybrid. I truly believe in that philosophy, and I think that's the one that has kept me here because I like the philosophy of by which the university stands, and to me, it's really very important that we see to it that we nurture our students with that philosophy. Ciencia Hybrid. See to it that they have the knowledge and the skills to support their career, to support their studies, okay? But to see to it also that however they use their knowledge and their skills, that is always guided by values. Okay? So that's really, really very important. That's where wisdom comes from. The marriage of science and virtue.
Right. So now you are approaching the retirement years.
Yes.
So, and I've seen this best-selling author, Dr. Riley Moynes, and he posits 4 phases of retirement. Sabi niya, there's vacation, so that's the honeymoon stage kumbaga with the retirement. And then there's loss, na mawawala na naglaba. And then there is also trial and error, and then leading to reinventing the self or rewiring the self. Try to find what am I gonna do next? Now, I'd like to ask from you now, ma'am, what is this single thing that you are afraid of losing during the retirement years? Because sabi ni Moyes, meron daw 5 na possible na mawala. It could be sense of identity, relationship, power, what else? Purpose, and then also routine.
Routine. Oo. Importante din yung routine. Routine is very important. Well, I hope I don't lose my friends. I have been placed in my life. I have been placed in situations or in positions where I was somebody new there. I did not know anyone. But in all of those positions, what I have found is that I made very good friends in all of them. And I think keeping up those friendships has been one of the things I do in my life. Like, I still meet my classmates from college who I graduated with, 60 years ago. So I still have my friends in that I made with colleagues in the UP system when I was chancellor of UP and we still continue to meet regularly. And so I hope that whatever friendships I make here, that I will be able to continue with that. And that's very important in old age, in retirement and in old age, to keep up the relationships. That's very important. Keep learning. And I always say, well, I am a lifelong learner. I think I'm learning something always every day. And I learn from all sorts of different things. From people I meet in the street, people I meet in the palengke, or anything. I always keep myself learning. And I believe that that's one way by which I can make my brain young and active. That I believe that we are always making connections between the brain cells.
Synapses.
Yes.
Correct.
That's very important to keep on learning because as they say, it's a finding in science that the brain continues to be plastic. That means to say it can grow and can change even at old. So
relationships.
yes, learning and health.
Health.
Also, it's very important. It's good that even when we were young, we started with our exercises. So I have my routine exercises, which I intend to keep up, and that's one of the things that I will continue to have. And of course, I've been asked by the board of CEU to report to CEU once a week. So that will sit that will be something that where I will see to it that I have to dress up when I come to school and still keep up with the dress code of CEU. And so I'll still be my friends.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So now I'm down to my last two questions. Second to the last is, what are the things now that you're going to devote most of your time moving forward?
In the first part, I will have to organize the so many things that I have accumulated through the years in the first part. And then continuing is our work with the church, because which we have not really stopped. Even through our positions that we have in government and in the private sector, we continue to have a role in our church. For example, right now, my husband and I, William and I, nurture the young couples in our church. We have like a once a month Bible study and fellowship with the young couples. So it's something that we will continue, of course, to do. And again, that's something that will also keep us young, being with young couples,
Yes.
rather than being only with old people like us. Diba?
And you will be benefiting a lot, no? Learning from your wisdom,
I hope so.
from decades of experience.
Yes, I hope so.
I could attend one of those. Now, for my last question now. 5, 10, 15 years from now, you will be honored again in this institution. And how would you like to be remembered as an educational member or as a person?
I don't know. Kasi recognition will not come from me. I need that the institution, that history speak for itself of what I've done. Diba? I don't think I should. I should say,
Baka ako rin yung gagawa ng tribute video.
yeah, diba?
No, but anyways, Mama, this is one of the best interviews that I have had so far.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again for allowing me to do this. But we're not yet done.
Yeah.
I have one last part.
What?
And that is a fast talk
Fast
section,
talk.
which we call here Napping Rush. So I have here a few questions. Some are dichotomized, some are will pop out in your mind.
Okay.
Okay, first thing, Los Baños or Manila?
Espanyol.
Los Baños. Fine dining or lutong bahay?
Luto ba?
Lutong bahay. Online, on-site, or highlights?
Both. All.
All. Now, describe the feeling of being a grandmother to your
Oh, indescribable feeling. Really. Happiness and excitement and everything. Yes, accomplishment.
Thank you very much. Your favorite song?
I don't have a favorite song. No. That's one of the things, you know. Some people say, ba't yung song ninyo ni William? Wala. No favorite song. I know. Wow, I forgot the name of my favorite hit.
It happens to all of us.
Oh, senior moment. Oh.
And final question, proudest moment as CEU president?
My proudest moment as CEU president? Every graduation day is a proud moment. There's not one. No, you cannot pinpoint one single moment that I'm proud of. Many moments. Even just being greeted as I walk down the study area is proud of. Diba? So,
I can tell you this, when I transferred here to Manila to it's also a challenge because, of course, you have high expectations from your
Yes.
people. And I wanted to make it happen. That's why, although I've already told this to you, I'm here as early as 5 a.m.
yes, I know.
And I guess that one is mirroring the commitment to what we really do. So thank you very much for all the
Well,
opportunities.
I really should thank you also, Jace, for making that commitment to CEU. And I hope, you continue it. You're one of the jewels in this community. So, Stay on.
Thank you very much.
Keep
I
it
know
up.
about the pride now, but let's,
Yes.
thank you very much again, Dr.
Thank you. Thank
We will
you.
still be seeing one. And that is another episode of Cup of Jose, your local Escolar podcast for discussions have a purpose. Till next vlog, thank you.
Yung picture ano
Yes,
kami,
po.
saan mo dinadala yan?
Sa YouTube, ma'am.
Ganon.
Last time si Sir Ricky na-upload din yun.
Ah,
Nag-explain
sige.
this check.
Sabihin mo sa akin.
One,
Yes, sir.
two, three, smile.